So Drake is officially back with a new album, Some Sexy Songs for You, and he's topping the Spotify daily streams already in 2025. But of course, with any Drake release comes controversy. And also on the pop news side, Sabrina Carpenter is back with a short and sweet deluxe album. But first, let's get into this new Drake album and P&D album, it's a collab album. Look at these numbers and go over what the people are saying. Okay, so first up, Drake hit 92.4 million, which beats Kendrick Lamar in terms of Spotify streams in a day. It doesn't beat Kendrick by much. As you can see, Drake had 92.4 million streams and Kendrick had 92.3. And this is just total Spotify plays. I don't think this is relating just to the album itself. And also, this is just one day. So a lot could be said about how the album might be listened to over the weekend and coming days and how this all shakes out in some time to come. But anyway, Drake in 2025 has the most streams in a day. So there's that. Now, the album is long. It's 21 songs long, clocking in at 73 minutes total. So it's quite a listen. It can feel a little bit long at times. And some of the songs I think do sound somewhat similar. It feels to me more like a playlist than it is like a true album. It feels like a collection of songs, as Drake has definitely done in the past. On the first few listens, it's tough to pull out which ones are the true bangers and hits. A lot of them have a similar vibe. So yeah, if you're looking for just kind of like a mood playlist, I think this is cool. It definitely leans into R&B and that singing side of Drake, not so much hip hop, uh, as you might expect on a Drake album, or maybe not, considering Drake does a lot of R&B and singing. It definitely drops at an interesting time as Kendrick just did a Super Bowl, and maybe people were expecting some sort of response, and Drake's response was some sexy songs. So some people might feel type of way that he should have responded differently to that. It is a Valentine's Day album, and Drake has not really acknowledged anything that Kendrick has been doing the last, well, really since he, I think, dropped those lawsuits. But anyway, let's look into what some people are saying. As I said, he surpassed Kendrick Lamar's record of 92.3. Not by much, but he did. And this is as a lead artist. And for reference, Kendrick's album had GNX had 12, so there's that. Which someone did point out right here, 21 new tracks and only 2 million more. I mean, again, this is only one day. Kendrick's album has been out longer. His streams were boosted a lot by the Super Bowl as well, 430%. GNX streamed 74 million times in his first full day. And it's half the length. I mean, I guess if you want to do the math like that, if Kendrick dropped a 21 song album, would it have done, I don't know, would it have done double that? I guess you can sort of suggest that it would, but tough to say. So Kendrick, I mean, look, you can say his album is shorter, but he's also on the Super Bowl stage. So he has a huge, huge platform. 133 million people watched it. It was the most watched thing ever in Super Bowl history. So, you know, you could lean into the fact that Drake's album's longer. You can also lean into the fact that Kendrick's had a bigger platform as of late. Drake's currently on tour in Australia, not exactly going to boost the streams by 400%. No offense to Australia, it's just not the Super Bowl. So there are those factors to weigh in. Let's keep going through what people are saying. Let's see, this person here, he said Kendrick needs Drake. There is no vice versa. And, there's a fair point in that. Kendrick's relevance as of these days is because he's been dissing Drake and people are riding that hate train. There is some truth to that, as there's some truth to the album is longer. As with any beef, there's a lot of truth to both sides of things, and I guess it just depends what side you fall on in terms of where, you want to lean. Kendrick's popularity has significantly been boosted by talking about Drake and hating on Drake, and people have been riding that train all over the place. Again, this guy, he says one is because of Drake, the other because, well, he is Drake. And again, I think that's a fair testament. Although Kendrick's album GNX, particularly, I love songs like Reincarnation. I kind of like the stuff that wasn't even Drake related. I always like Kendrick for his lyricism and just the way he can weave a story together and like track like Reincarnation, phenomenal. Moving on, you were watching Elimination of Drake. Not really, because he just did 92 plus million, 92.4 million streams. You are not watching the Elimination of Drake. Again, this guy crazy. Both reasons are because of Drake. I don't think Drake's popularity is going to change much at all. I think people have just been waiting for a moment to hate on Drake. They had a moment, and this wasn't just any rapper hating on Drake. It was Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick Lamar is one of the finest lyricists of the past decade or so. He just has that weight behind him. I do think Drake had some good songs in there too. It's just I think people were just waiting for a moment to truly hate on Drake. But let's move on to some of these controversies in here. Like I said, the album is not without its controversies. Freddie Gibbs accused Drake of kind of biting the style of his styling of the title. Soul Sold Separately. You can see here how that is stylized with the money signs. And you can also see, obviously, the way he stylized it as well right here. Some sexy songs for you. So similar. There was some rabbit controversy, whatever. I think the bigger controversy in this has to do with the actual artwork. A rapper by the name of John River accused Drake of using his same artwork. So looking here, John River posted this amongst some back and forth he had with P&D. But just so you can see the covers, I mean, it look, no one can trademark taking a photo in front of these towers, but it's pretty obvious that there was some inspiration there. And he actually even goes through a conversation he had with P&D where they actually did speak for more than 2 hours. And basically, P&D was just kind of saying he loved it and why are you getting attention instead of me? So there definitely felt like there was, like, hey, this was a great idea. How did I not think of this? I really like it. And also wanted him to kind of pay homage, as he explains here, to OVO and P&D, which, I mean, I guess there's some respect factor there, but I don't think they even knew each other before this. So I guess in a way, P&D and Drake are paying homage to John River with this. I don't know. It depends how you look at it. He also goes into detail about OVO asking him to sit down and talking about the Monroe Tower shot, which was the album cover. And I think, yeah, he says here they wanted him to write for them, and he said no. And then that was the last time they ever spoke. So, yeah, definitely. I think this part of the controversy, I mean, there is some similar styling with Freddie Gibbs. Again, no one owns money signs. No one owns the fact that you can take a photo in front of these towers. But it does seem like there was some inspiration, let's say. And that's also art. I don't know, it really depends how you look at it because art is an interesting thing where people are inspired by all sorts of things. And you can say it's directly copying it, it's inspired by. Again, it really depends on how you look at it. If you see something you like and you do something similar, are you inspired by it? Is it truly the same? This has I guess, an orange glow to it. This is in a snowy winter, which fits Drake's OVO brand. So, I mean, yes, you would think Drake would reach out and say, "Hey, man, I was inspired by you. Appreciate it. I was thinking about doing this for my artwork. Thanks for the inspiration." Something like that probably feels appropriate if you're going to be inspired by someone, but by no means do you have to. There's plenty of art out there that is similar. Just look at movies. How many movies did Quentin Tarantino be inspired from when he made his films? And some people say it's copying, and that's a critique of Quentin Tarantino that he copies or borrows a lot from films he likes. But again, is it copying or borrowing, or is it being inspired by something? Again, it really depends how you look at how people can be inspired by art. Normally, when someone is inspired by something and they put it out like that, they will say, "I was inspired by this." So maybe some sort of clarification would be nice. So anyway, moving on to a completely different genre. Let's talk about Sabrina Carpenter, who's had a massive year with Espresso and her album Short and Sweet. She is back with, say, that's 6 new songs. As the song is definitely different. It's not just Dolly Parton being on the track. It was remixed to have a more country twang and sound to it. Couldn't make it any harder. Nice title. More of a ballad type. It was nice to hear Sabrina just doing some more singing. Although you do have the similar lyrics that she usually he goes into. Obviously, that's a double entendre there. But anyway, it was a cool addition to an already good album. Dolly Parton, I think she added a nice touch to it. And it's also funny because when that song initially came out, it featured her boyfriend at the time, Barry Keegan. There was some controversy there, and now the song is kind of ironic in itself because funny and it's ironic, right? It's even the lyric of the song where what she was saying in the song about what not to do kind of happened, allegedly. I don't know. Uh, it seems like there's a little bit of controversy there. Already doing great. 5.6 million views, number 2 in trending. So it's definitely getting some traction. And there, right there in the top comment, that's what I was just saying. I like it. Barry was the only man to ever survive a Sabrina video, so she had to come back and make. So controversies everywhere in hip hop and R&B and pop music. But there you have it. Some new music for the week.